The winner of the last YouTube poll is Armor King. The shadow to the Luchador King, Armor King is a beloved character, infusing brutal brawling, deadly grapples and the Mishima style all into one package. Armor King's history is split quite literally in two. The first Armor King is lauded as one of the best characters in each game he appeared in. The second is known more for his brawling style and has a strong cult following. But how good has Armor King truly been throughout the series from the beginning to the present day? Let's find out in this episode of Pro Tekken History. Here we go.
Final round. Fight. Perfect. You win.
Armor King in Tekken 1 is a contender with Heihachi for the best character in the game. Heihachi has slightly better damage output than Okizeme, but Armor King has the safe touch of death mid-wing Godfist, an insane throw game with Unbreakable, Tombstone Pile Drivers and Giant Swings, and of course his down forward one that he shares with King, a mid-poke that's a launcher on block. This makes Armor King insanely threatening in neutral, as down forward 1 can be mixed up with Wing Godfist for ridiculously deadly launch mix-ups. Block Stallion and you get launched, block Crouching and you get launched. It's such a strong mix-up that it's almost impossible for any other character to counter. But I did say almost. The only other character who can compete with Armor King, as mentioned before, is Heihachi. It's tricky to theorycraft who wins that matchup as the neutral game is so explosive. The first one to land one of their bombs wins. However, I think Heihachi is slightly better for two reasons. First, he's one of the only characters who can threaten Armor King after a blocked Wind Godfist, mixing up a launching mid with his safe Hell Sweeps. Second, if Armor King does land a juggle and isn't able to kill, his elbow drop ender leaves him in a disadvantageous state. That's really bad against Heihachi, who has his running Hell Axle where the second hit is guaranteed on block, his Hell Sweeps, all of his launchy mids, and more. Armor King is arguably the stronger character in pure neutral as his down forward one is much more threatening, but Armor King is more prone to lose momentum than Heihachi is, and Heihachi is the stronger character at capitalizing on the advantage no matter the distance or positioning. That being said, Armor King is the clear number 2 in the very broken Tekken 1.
Final round. Fight. Perfect. You win.
Armor King is just as strong as ever in Tekken 2. He doesn't have the mid-block launcher anymore, but he does still have an insane throw game and juggle potential. Armor King's game plan in Tekken 2 is incredibly simple. Up close, try to connect a jab string to get a throw attempt, or try to get the opponent to block down forward 1 to get a throw attempt. At a distance, try to sneak in a weird Godfist or a hop kick and destroy your opponent's health bar. AK doesn't have many great lows at all, but his throws almost act like his lows as a mix-up with his mids, as it's so hard to break throws in Tekken 2. AK can basically win with just a few moves. A few terrifying moves. As mentioned before, Armor King can use the frames from his 1-2 string to go for a guaranteed throw attempt, and the damage off of his Tombstone Pile Driver is eye-watering. Armor King is also one of a few characters in Tekken 2 with surprisingly good Okizeme. His Burning Knuckle Unblockable is extremely fast and covers insane distance, making it a great option to beat get-up options. AK can also just run up an alley kick if they stay on the ground, or wait for the opponent to wake up and mix down forward 1, throws, even a Frankenstein if they're feeling feisty. AK has tons of damage and tons of options. As mentioned, Armor King is one of the best characters in Tekken 2. It's hard to theorize how matchups would play out, but typically Armor King is incredible against slower characters like the Jax, or characters who have a lot of holes in their poke strings like the Williams sisters, where AK can duck and sneak in a launch or grab. The matchups where AK can struggle are keep out characters. He doesn't have a lot of approach options, only Wind Godfist of a very slow stomach smash which is only threatening as a counter hit. This means characters such as Bruce can easily keep out with his long-range mid-strings, or Wayne and Michelle can interrupt with their jab counter-hit launchers or their high-crashing low counter-hit launchers. Kazuya also has plenty of time to sidestep and evade AK's offense at a distance, and in neutral, Kazuya is more threatening with his twin pistons and hell sweep. AK is a clear third in Tekken 2 compared to his clear second in Tekken 1, but he's still an incredibly powerful character.
Slips, you had quite a match earlier against Unconkable.
Yeah.
Match, it finished 21% to 20%.
Yeah. I made a mistake. Alright, here we go. There's a lot of cock talk between these two. STL Bad Boy said he was going to own up on him.
Last time they fought was at Sluts, a tournament in St. Louis.
Right.
The winner was Unconkable. He beat STL Bad
Oh,
Boy
God.
in the finals.
Tried to get in and ate
Will
that
history
uppercut.
repeat itself today?
So far, it looks like it.
So far it has.
The results for the past two Tekken Tag Tournaments have been the same at the top
Identical.
three. Top four, I think.
Top four was
Yeah.
me, you,
Me,
Sean,
you,
Mike.
Mike, Sean.
Yeah.
It's like the trend is still the same.
Yeah, nothing has changed in STL, therefore the world.
Alright.
There were two Koreans here,
good break.
folks.
Good stun
They
break.
both signed up for Tekken Tag Tournament.
Alright, looks like this is over unless there's a big time clutch. Just do it down four. He'll probably win. It's getting cocky.
What is he doing?
Oh!
Asking him, what is he thinking?
More than anything, Armor King was actually an Okizeme beast in Tekken Tag Tournament. AK had so many Okizeme options in his juggles because both his +8 on block crouch -1 and his dark up at the opponent in face down feet away. In fact, so did his down forward 1 on counter hit. And in that situation, because there's no tech rolling when face down in tag, there are so many Okizeme options. Capital punishment, the unblockable capital punishment, elbow drops, duck jabs, anti kicks, ground throws, or just wave dashing to mix up a low like stomach smash, a mid like dark upper, or one of AK's deadly throws such as giant Swedish chain throw or the tombstone pile driver. While Armor King doesn't have as many strong neutral tools as say Mishimas or Chains, he has more than enough to compete while being an absolute momentum monster. Armor King has solid block punishment, decent jab punishment along with an 8 frame 1 jab, a perfect 14 frame punish, and a safer 15 frame hop kick. And while we usually don't have a staple juggle section for Tag Tournament, Armor King is going to be perhaps a sole exception. He has so many tag juggle options that house ridiculous setups that community members even gave their juggle routes names. In the interest of preserving a piece of the community's history, I'm going to show all of these old juggle routes, their names, and some of their key Okizeme options for you now. Armor King is almost always paired with King. The two characters have better netsu, great synergy, and King has an unbreakable tag throw with Armor King, in fact two, one for each character, for guaranteed damage, which is fantastic. But the best tag partner for Armor King is arguably Devil. One of America's legendary Tekken players, Unconkable, discovered that Armor King and Devil have a ton of juggle synergy. The two characters have a ton of synergy in-game too, as they cover each other's weaknesses. Devil is the better character in neutral, and his counter hit wind godfist juggles that end in face down feet away give excellent follow-ups when tagging in Armor King for a guaranteed alley kick. Armor King has the stronger Okizeme, so when Devil ends juggles and tags in AK, the opponent has to wake up into a flurry of plus frames, dark uppers, throws and lows, and has to contend with a ton of tricks like turn stealing duck jabs, the evasive back one chop, or throw buffers when the opponent's trying to approach. You've seen how vicious the team is in the background footage, so now let's finish up by talking about how AK players did in tournament. Despite how many gaps there still are in Tekken Tag Tournament archives, Armakin has undoubtedly the best tournament results for a non-Mishima and non-Ogre. Legendary players Mike, Tom Hilfiger and Chet Chetty had single known placements where they used Armakin at the Tekken Tag World Championships, Electro Cancel 3 and EVO 2004 respectively. Bronson Tran had several placements, the two we know of being a second at Extravaganza 5 and a fifth at Electro Cancel 4, pairing Armakin with Bruce for a vicious tag team. And then we get to Unconkable, arguably the strongest American player at tag. The STL legend won countless tournaments, including the first ever Kumite in Tennessee, several extravaganzas, a second at Electro Cancel 4, a third at Electro Cancel 5, and most notably, an extremely strong second place finish at EVO 2004, only losing out to Ryan Hart in Grand Finals. This was the highest placing an American ever got at EVO for Tekken Tag, proving the Armakin Devil team was extremely consistent. Fun fact, after retiring from competitive Tekken, Unconkable has since been employed at Riot Games as an associate game director and is working on the upcoming Project L. Who knows where fighting games can take you in life? Armakin was completely reinvented in Dark Resurrection. His Crouch Dash 2 was reverted to its regular Wing Godfist-esque status, and he gained a few new pokes and strings to bump up his toolkit. However, most of these strings aren't practically useful. Forward 2-1 didn't have much range in DR, down forward 2-1 was a non-jailing mid-high, and 1+2-2 was only really good as a juggle filler. What Armakin did enjoy were some new pokes like forward 4 and back 2, and his own running grab. However, these weren't close enough to make Armakin stand out as a potential pick in DR, for reasons we'll get to later. See, if you just looked at AK's damage and punishment, you'd think he was great. A really solid hop kick, 8-frame jabs, and great with punishment. His juggle options were good. Either go for wall carry, and with a running powerbomb for damage, or go for the giant swing air grab for really strong Okazeme. Most mid pokes floated quick stand, and back rolls could be easily chased. His wall damage wasn't the best, but AK was more of a turtle anyway, so getting to the wall was a bonus for AK players. Okay, let's talk about why Armakin is C tier, and what unsustainable offense means. AK doesn't have any mid pokes that don't immediately end his turn after on block. We already talked about his subpar strings as well, and all of Armakin's lows are very unsafe on block except for generic down 4. Down back 3 is a great sweep with incredible Okazeme after, including crossover tag, but nothing's guaranteed after, and it is launch punishable. This means it's practically unviable to play Armakin as a rushdown character, as your only options are unsafe lows, unthreatening mids, and breakable throws. Because of this, most AK players chose to play with a turtle style, but AK also suffers from bad keep out options. Down 1-4 is -12 on block, his counter hit back 1 panic launcher is 14 frames in this game, and his magic 4 only consistently lets you perform a shoulder barge after on counter hit. All of this means Armakin has very few deterrents against mix-up characters, and Dark Resurrection's top 3 are the 3 Mishimas. In fact, Armakin was so subpar I couldn't find a single tournament result for him in Dark Resurrection. Not even with JDCR, who mained Raven at the time. Armakin 2 truly failed to live up to his predecessor's lofty standards. What a fall from grace. Armor King is much more solid in Tekken 6. His lows are so much stronger. Down back 3 is now a full counter hit launcher, and down 3 is an extremely solid and safe low that is plus on hit, while down 4 and down 3 plus 4 are nice evasive lows that track to AK's right. His counter hit tools are way better. Back 1 is now 12 frames, and back 1 is a safe counter hit launcher, along with down forward 3 and back counter hit confirmable back 2 1 2. And lastly, his throw game got really nice buffs with quarter circle back 1 plus 2 and down forward 2 plus 3. What all of this means is that it's now much more viable to play AK as a rush down character. He has some slow but viable plus and block mids in back 1 plus 2 and down back 1 plus 2, which along with his counter hit tools help add some bite to AK's bark. His standard pokes like 1 2 1, down forward 1, forward 2, down 3 and return stealing down 1 4. Armor King is still more than viable, and arguably better than ever as a turtle, with huge punishers like sidestep 2-1 and crouch dash 2. AK isn't top tier due to a lack of crazy damage that a lot of the OP characters have, but he has more than enough tools to be competitively viable again. Armor King's block punishment is even stronger with his new 12 frame punisher in back 1-2. His juggle damage is very strong as well, with most AK players electing to forego ending with a running powerbomb again and instead ending with a giant swing air grab for superior Oki. While AK's wall damage isn't quite as strong as other characters, he can still be deadly with raw pressure due to ground throw mix-ups and unblockable setups. There's not much more to say here. Enjoy the rest of the pretty juggles. As a very solid, well-rounded character, Armor King is in a good position in Tekken 6's meta, with few really bad matchups. Some characters contend better against the rushdown style than others, but the turtle style is a lot harder for the opponent to play around if they're not a top tier like Bob or Lars. AK is just moving around, sneaking in lows and throw attempts while waiting for a mistake. This is reflected in AK's tournament results. While they're not outstanding, Armor King had 5 placements from 4 players. All of these placements occurred late in Tekken 6's lifespan. He wasn't DLC. While Armor King was originally overlooked early on, players started picking up results with him as they got comfortable with the game and his more skill-demanding playstyle bared fruit. Finland's Shirdel won Berlin Tekken Clash 4 and placed 3rd at the Samsung Euro Championship with his highly impressive Armor King. Eris placed 2nd at Devastation 2011 with Armor King. Although he was a Dragunov and Wang main, he picked up Armor King later in the game's lifespan. Italy's Xeon placed 5th at Ultimate Tournament 13, where he had one of the greatest tournament sets of all time against Ivorio Akon. Finally, a young JDCR placed 3rd at World Cyber Games 2011 with Armor King, and his legend with the character was about to start very, very soon.
JDCR wants to end it now. Twin Pistons.
My heart is hurting.
I know. I should have taken some Metamucil with Alex Valle. Here we go.
Anyways, nice break on the throw. And again, JDCR, if he takes this round, he wins the entire tournament. The pressure has to be on.
Oh, man. Okay, so he's got a combo now. He's going to take him all the way downtown. Boom, boom, tag assault. Nice, 3 hits.
Now what's he going to do? He's going to have to get Heihachi out of there.
Oh, not enough. Tag crash.
Oh, he didn't launch
Dropped it. That would have been perfect.
Oh, no.
JDCR.
Okay. Gen is definitely changing up his mix-ups right now.
Oh, huge mistake. Oh, my God. That looked like it was going to be a drop combo by JDCR. Steps on him. And JDCR.
Oh,
very nice.
And we have a new Evolution 2014
very
champion.
Nice. JDCR.
The tag games always favour the Mishima-style characters due to the juggle damage and the extra accessibility those crouch dash tag launches provide, and Armor King is no exception. AK is great as a point character with all of the strong pokes he had in Tekken 6, as well as his new back 4-1+2 safe mid kick to stunner attack throw that does a chunk, as well as the aforementioned dark up attack launcher and his running powerbomb or forward to 1 juggle enders for damage or wall carry respectively. But he's great as a secondary character too. His punch parry and high crushing downfall give him some good options to mix up when doing risky raw tag-ins. For the most part though, Armacane's the same character as ever. But while some characters were nerfed coming from T6 to Tag 2, Armacane got a few on paper buffs and a natural buff due to his affinity with the tag system. All of this makes AK a well-rounded beast who's extremely easy to fit onto almost any team. Most people will naturally fit Armacane with King as their tag partner of choice. The King's specialists, Armacane is the most obvious pick due to their similarities, positive synergy for rage damage and their tag throw. But Armacane mains have the luxury of being able to pair him with just about anybody. King strongly fits into the grappler archetype first, and the Okuzemi and poking archetypes second. But Armacane is a poking character first with Mishima style moves and grappling as extras. The downside is that because Armacane isn't an all-in Mishima with an electric and hell sweep, specialists would usually pass him up for Devil Jin or Heihachi unless they're specifically pairing AK with a Mishima anyway. The positive, however, is because most of his toolkit revolves around solid poking and trying to create whiffs for his dark up attack launcher, he's easy to pair with practically any other character in the cast. And that leads to some incredible results. This is the first time in this series that I genuinely have too many results to go over each one individually. I already talked in length about JDCR and Lil Majin's Tag 2 accomplishments in the Heihachi and King videos respectively. Well, AK shares all of those accolades and more. The near undefeated reign of terror JDCR had all the way through Tag 2, the fantastic results Majin had all over the states, and an ultimate tournament victory in Paris, and then look at all the other players who got results. Kyle, Alex Valle, Adonis, The Game, Overall, MMT, Bloodhawk, Shifty, Brawl Pro, Imperfection, SBY Razor, Seb, NG Milkman, and Far East Magic all had top 8 placements using Armacane. That's by far the most impressive list of results we've seen in this series up till now. Wow.
Final round! We're the final! Let's go! Oh man, Raz with the block! Here comes pressure, JF, SR, no!
Yo, the crowd is going
crazy.
ham right now.
Oh my god, but JDCR with the pressure! Nice step, and hop kick!
The hope kick. He's gonna get the wall. This is a lot of damage.
Oh my
Guys,
god!
Don't get quiet. He's not done just yet. Rest is enraged. That could be a lot of
the
damage.
blocks! Here we go!
There we go. There goes for the crouch dash one. Rest still trying to keep
Oh,
that offense
God.
while standing forward.
And the down forward one!
That's gonna be a grand final showing for my boy.
Armacane returned halfway through Season 2, but went right back to his jack of all trades, master of none position in the meta outside of a tag system. The screw system does help in some ways though. His crouch dash 1 shallow lariat is now a full launcher on shallow hit, making the staggering high one of AK's most appealing moves for the first time since Tag 1. AK finally has a threatening mid in forward 4 which gives a minimum of +2 on block, forces crouch, and gives 3 follow-ups on counter hits, but it is slow. Armacane's rage drive is also really difficult to land at a high level. He has no fast mids out of crouch dash aside from while standing 4, and the lack of other really threatening mids on normal hit means there's not much reason for players to not duck at the ends of rounds. And if AK's rage drive is ducked, he's dead. AK's lows just don't measure up in Tekken 7 either. The frames are okay, but their damage is really low. So, AK goes back to being the solid poking turtle that he was in DR and Tekken 6. AK's block punishment is the same as ever, and the same goes for his juggles. Wall carry is decent, and his wall pressure is really nice. His staple wall juggle now gives a 50-50 mix-up. Try to move the tool but while standing 4 hits grounded. Stay on the floor, and you have to guess on the ground throw. It's a really strong mix-up that makes AK fantastic at the wall. And of course, AK is incredible on Forgotten Realm with unskilled air throws at the start or end of juggles. Take your pick. As for matchups, Armor King remains as well rounded as ever. He's still especially good against the movement type characters such as Eddie and Zhao Yu, as Armor King's mid hitboxes and low hitboxes have such great properties that they hit those characters out of almost everything. Where Armor King is weak is against characters who can poke or dominate the game's tempo a little bit better than him, such as Yoshimitsu or Negan, or against characters who have lows around the -13 to -14 range, as Armor King can't really punish those characters especially well. But again, he's still incredibly well rounded, and in tournament sets being able to counterpick the stage with Forgotten Realm can sometimes almost always all but guarantee you at least one practically free game in a set, which is a lot. JDCR used Armor King throughout all of Season 2, but the first player to place with Armor King was actually Jimmy J. Tran, winning NorCal Regionals 2019 with Armor King convincingly. He swapped back to Brian for future majors, however. JDCR placed all over the world in 2019 with Armor King though, while also using Heihachi and Dragunov depending on the matchup. Armor King got some nice quality of life buffs in Season 3, most notably a really nice new low in Shadow Step 2. Good tracking, 3 follow-ups on counter hit, and only -13 on block. However, this was the only big buff AK got in Season 3, and he badly fell victim to Season 3's controversial power creep, falling well down the tier list. This shows in his placements. While there were a few Season 3 events due to COVID, nobody placed with Armor King at offline majors in Season 3. JDCR dropped the character to pick Dragunov back up. So, let's quickly move on to Season 4. Now that's a bit more like it. Armor King got so many buffs in Season 4, I can't even fit them all on screen. Damage buffs, frame buffs, tracking buffs, new juggle routes, and counter hit launches across the board. This makes Armor King much more of a threatening character in neutral now. It's still not quite so easy for him to dominate the game's tempo, as he lacks moves that are fast and easy to just throw out, but he's finally at a great spot at this late point in the game. With power creep and a lack of tournaments though, Armor King remains a hard sell for players to pick up and specialize. And that's it. So, how good was Armor King over Tekken's history? Well, Armor King 1 was an absolute top tier beast, taking the best parts of both Mishima's and the grapple game and putting it together. Armor King 2 had a shakier time. Being a second-rate Mishima and not as specialized as King meant he relied on poking and fundamentals to shine. He was fantastic in Tag 2 however, and does seem to be in a good spot at this late point in Tekken 7. We'll see if Armor King specialists will be rewarded for their dedication in the future. There's no doubt that Armor King is one of Tekken's best characters from a pure design standpoint, and his new brawling style has garnered him a ton of fans. Right now, Armor King is in the shadows, but history shows that when he comes out, he always makes an impact. Thanks for watching.